Hello everybody and welcome to my channel. My name is Penapple and today I am doing a sort of modern ocean house speed build thingy-majig. Anyways, if you're interested in this build, you can download it off of the gallery. My origin ID is penappleYT. Oh my goodness, I've been so busy lately. It's been crazy. I cannot stress how glad I am that I pre-recorded, I think it was like 4 builds. Because this is the third build, the third that's been pre-recorded, and oh boy, I'm not ready to start recording new ones, so we'll see how it goes. But if you don't know, I've been doing grad school. I just started, and it's already a whirlwind. But let's talk about the build a little bit. So I really wanted something that kind of celebrated summer, just because, and I made this pretty much right after seasons came out, so this is a little rusty, don't mind me, but, you know, when seasons came out, everybody was really excited about all the different seasons, except for summer, because basically we had an eternal summer in The Sims, so up until that point, which is fine. Like I said, it was like a reverse Narnia situation, where they were just stuck in eternal winter. Well, we were stuck in an eternal summer. But the funny thing is, you know, at least I complained about that, you know, I wanted seasons and blah, blah, blah. Well, now that I have seasons, I actually get really annoyed with most of the weather because it makes it hard to build, or it makes the lighting weird, or it makes the grass odd colors, or the landscaping gets difficult because nothing has leaves, and yeah, that didn't take very long now, did it? But anyways, it wouldn't be me if I wasn't like, I don't know, what, cynical? Is that the word? Ungrateful? Oh, that sounded so bad. Anyways, I wanted to do something that kind of really embraced and celebrated summer. And so it's on Windenburg, which definitely has winter, spring and fall type deal. So this would really only be a summer home, I think. I mean, I guess it wouldn't have to be. I tried not to make the living spaces too open because I'm not 100% sure how that works now. You know, because before we had seasons, it was kind of like you could have anything open, whatever, and Sims wouldn't be upset. But now if you're missing like a wall or something, the Sims let you know. They're like, I am cold, or I am too hot, or I felt a raindrop touch me. I'm not okay now. They let you know, which is fair. It's fair, but it does make building a little, not necessarily difficult, but less, it makes it more restrictive. That kind of thing. Sorry, why is it so loud? Sorry, I think there was somebody outside in the hall. I can't tell. It's pretty late at night over here, so I don't really know what's going on anymore. I thought I heard noise, and it's not like you guys could hear anyways, because the mic isn't, it's not that it's not that sensitive, but I've set it so that it isn't as sensitive, type sort of thing. So whenever I hear anything weird, unless it's really loud, you guys can't hear it, and so then I just sound a little bit crazy. When don't I, though? I mean, honestly, I'm very exuberant and eclectic type thing. But yeah, so I went all out modern for this, which always makes me a little bit nervous. My modern builds just never receive as much love as any of my other builds, and so, which has led me to think that maybe I'm not super great at modern building, I don't know. This is not me fishing for compliments. This is just me noticing a trend, because I like how all my modern builds turn out pretty much just as much as I like all my other builds, but other people don't seem to share the same sentiments. I don't know. Maybe it's just like, I don't know, but it's definitely hard to build modern in The Sims 4 because we don't have as much modern stuff as I would like. Also, a lot of modern architecture is kind of based on a blocky appearance, which ends up looking, I don't know, it's like, it's hard to replicate that in The Sims 4 without it looking kind of bad. And like, that can be true of a lot of stuff. There are some things in real life that look fantastic. They look very simplistic and nice, but then when you put it in The Sims, it just looks so, it can look very bland or very just like a wide expanse of a wall, and you're like, well, why didn't you do anything with this? Or at least that's how I feel when I look at it. Or, you know, maybe the angle is too like intense or not enough, and you know, there's just not as much like, there's not, it's just difficult. I don't know how to describe it. It's just difficult. And so maybe that's what happened with Modern Villa. I don't know, but I really tried with this one. So I hope people like it. It's not super popular on the gallery, but I like it. Anyways, I also just like the views you would get from this, like looking outside. This all super gorgeous. I love this sort of like pool shape. Very nice. If I say so myself, and I do. But yeah. Yeah. So yeah. Okay, I said so yeah a couple times, mostly because I'm trying to read my notes and talk at the same time. I could pause. You know why I can't read any of my notes? It's because I'm on the wrong page. I'm looking at my notes from when I did that sort of Japanese inspired home ages ago. 1 second. Found the right page. That explains a lot as to why it was talking about a Zen garden, and I was like, I don't remember this at all. But when I went to go turn to the notes I did take on this build, I have 4 notes, and I've already gone through most of them. But one of the notes was the layout for this kitchen dining room was really difficult, partially because I wasn't quite sure exactly what color scheme I wanted. This is a very sort of black and white with pops of turquoise and yellow color scheme, which is fun. I do like that. But also, like, just the way, for some reason, I didn't like the way the table was looking. I wanted a really long dining table, and, like, I had to end up shifting the front door different than I wanted it to. And I ended up doing this really cool thing where I put a little room divider and tried to make it look like almost like a open air mudroom type thingy. So descriptive, I know. Fantastic, A++. But you'll see it in a second. And I did like how it turned out. I'm about to start working on it now. Yeah, because I wanted like a sort of place to set down your stuff when you walk in, but it looked weird. And here you can see I have a short table with only 4 seats, and I wanted one with 6. And it's like here. And so I did end up, fitting that in, but as you can see, I kind of was debating what direction to turn it, and it finally worked itself out. But one of the things I did want to talk about today was so if you don't follow me on Twitch, you might not know this, and but for school I am taking an anatomy class, and that involves cadavers. So if you are easily squeaked out, if you're easily grossed out, if you do not want to hear about literal dead bodies, I recommend you turn off now. The little end screenshots, where is it? What time are they? It's at about, oh gosh, I can't figure this out. Okay, well, it's towards the end, like the last 2 minutes, if you want to see the little end shots. But from here on out, if you want to bail, please do. Don't feel like you need to stay, because I'm going to talk about some stuff that not everyone is super comfortable with, and in all seriousness, like, that's okay. I wasn't super comfortable with it when I first started out, but here we go. So, for my class, I am learning real human anatomy on real cadavers, and cadavers are human bodies which have been donated to science and preserved so that people can look at anatomy in real life, which is like so weird. Like in theory and in practice, it's like, it's a very odd thing, especially because I don't have a huge class, but there are quite a lot of us. So there are 18 cadavers in total. That's like a lot. And that's not even some of the other like, some of the like, they have other ones that they've professionally sort of like dissected, which is the word. And oh my gosh, this is a lot weirder to talk about than I thought it would be. But yeah, so basically I'm going to start off this by, this is basically now Tales from the Cadaver Lab, just so you know. But I want to start off by saying I am very, very grateful for the bodies that have been donated, and we do treat them with respect. And all the stories I have to tell are mostly about me being squeaked out and not, but you know, it is a concern of, you know, I want to be respectful. But we saw this before we went into the lab for the first time. We saw this little video on kind of the process of somebody choosing to donate their body to science and to become a cadaver, and like sort of the steps and how their family members feel about it, and like how like the usual type of person it is. And so it was really interesting, you know, and it talked a lot about respect and stuff like that, and I found it really informative. It was British though, which is totally fine. I'm not saying, you know, but here's the thing. They showed a class going in for the first time, and the instructor gave this little speech before they went in, and my favorite part of it, and it was just such a British thing, and it was so fantastic. She was like, and if anyone starts to feel woozy, just let us know. We'll make you a cup of tea. We'll sit you down. And like, when they said that, my entire class just like giggled. And like, our instructor was like, well, I can't make you guys tea, but you can sit down. But on the first day, nobody like passed out. Nobody has passed out. Like, I don't even think anyone needed to leave the room. I had some moments where I was like, this is really intense. And I still kind of have those moments sometimes. It's definitely, you know, I've definitely like calmed down towards it, and I'm more fine. Like, it's just, they really dunk you in there. Like, they kind of were like, okay, you just, you know, basically introduce yourself to your cadaver. And that was basically, you know, just like taking off the cover and looking at it. Some people chose to like touch it. I didn't. One of my I have 3 like sort of lab partners, and he just like immediately like took open the cover, and all the rest of the 3 of us were like, oh, okay, we're going. This is happening now. But yeah, so he's definitely, it's funny because when he did that, I kind of thought, oh, okay, well, he's going to be leading the way, but he really hasn't been. And it's also funny because he has his own dissecting kit. It comes in a little roll of like cloth, and he like unravels it, and it's got the tool, and it's a little creepy. It's a bit intense, but he took a different course, so like it's understandable. But every time I see it, I'm still a little taken aback that he has his own dissecting tools. Yeah, it's nice though. They're nice tools. It's definitely given us an advantage over some of the other people who have just the regular tools. But there's actually another team member who's really kind of led the way on this sort of stuff. And it was so funny because we were kind of like just chit-chatting and talking about our roles in the group. And she was like, yeah, I'm kind of the one who takes charge, and I talk a lot. And, you know, Penelope's the calm one. And I'm just like, what? Wait, me? Calm? What? I was like, what? How did you... Where did that come from? That word, calm. I guess, I don't know. I guess I could see it. The sort of persona that I put up on the internet, because I do put up a bit of persona, you know, I try and, you know, I do some like high energy, you know, more of my sort of giggly, positive side. I'm still snarky and indifferent and complainy, you know, but it's with high energy usually. I mean, if you've ever seen me on Twitch, I am lower energy at times there. And I yawn a lot. Yeah. Quick back to the build. This living room was so hard to figure out. I'm glad I finally did go with it. I ended up using that coffee table with the grass underneath it, and I raised it up and put another, I think it was a coffee table or a bench underneath it to give it legs, and it looked so good. I love how it turned out. Hopefully you'll get a good shot of it. Yeah, I think I used that table with, I don't know what I used, but you'll see it eventually. But yeah, so I'm the calm one. Yeah. Also, there was a really, really funny moment where, so my group was working, in one of the separate labs, which, oh my gosh, I haven't even told you guys. I didn't write this in my notes. How could I forget this? So you know how I was like kind of laughing about the fact that I get out at 4:20 p.m. every day, and how that's a pretty funny number. It's a pretty funny number to get out at every day. One half of the cadaver lab is in the room 666. It is room number 666, and it's the cadaver lab, and we get out at 4:20, and I can't. I'm sorry. Maybe that's me being immature, but it's pretty funny. But anyway, so we were in 666. Just the four of us kind of looking at one of them, and another guy walks in, not from our group, and I don't know what I thought he was talking about, but he was like, yeah, I don't know how you guys can do this, you know, and I thought he was saying something about how, you know, we're a really good group, really smart, and so I turn to my teammate, and I'm like, oh yeah, Ginny, she's like, so, like, she like, you know, she's the main person. You know, like, she's really the one who's, like, kind of taking charge over here. And then Ginny and this guy look at me, and they're like, what? And I'm like, what? What? And so he was like, yeah, no, I was saying that I don't understand how you guys can tolerate the smell. So then I realized what I had said was, oh, it's mostly Ginny that smells. Oh, I cleared it up, kind of, but I basically still said that my teammates smelled bad. As bad as a cadaver, which is pretty bad. They don't smell great. I mean, they don't smell like usually like rotting flesh because they've been fixed with formaldehyde, but formaldehyde also does not smell good. Also, in our cadaver has now been, like, my group's recognized as the smelliest. I don't know why, but anyways, I've had a similar uncadaver related story of a misunderstanding. Okay, so we have, like, little socials and stuff, and we had a taco social, but I wasn't really interested in that. I wanted to study, but I was kind of interested in food, but I didn't really want to go all the way to go get it. So one of my classmates, we'll call her Hermione, she was like, oh, could you watch my stuff? And I'm like, yeah, I'll watch your stuff if you don't mind maybe bringing me back, like, a taco or something. And she's like, oh yeah, sure, fine. So fast forward a little bit to my boyfriend. He texts me, and he's kind of checking in on me, making sure that I'm taking care of myself. So I text him back, oh yeah, I'm taking really good care of myself. I even conned Hermione into bringing me back nachos. I didn't send that text to my boyfriend. I sent it to Hermione. So I basically, it was really bad. I told her that I conned her into bringing me back chips, and, like, luckily she, like, understood it and laughed at it, but I just had that, like, like, no, crap. It was really bad. I freaked out a little bit, but it was fine. It turned out fine. She wasn't even the one to bring me back the chips, so she didn't even fulfill her end of the bargain. So, you know, I kind of imagined that if she read that, she might throw the chips in the trash before they got to me. But she didn't, because she didn't read it. So, anyways, she was really chill about it. Like, basically all of my classmates are really chill. It's fun. I think mostly we all get along. I don't know. Like, I haven't heard too much drama. There's always drama. You can really sniff it out. But yeah, so what else was I going to talk about? Oh, yeah. So I don't do this as much anymore, But for graduate school, I bought a Surface, which is the sort of Microsoft like tablet laptop thingy mabob, which has been really helpful for me with studying. It's not so helpful in the cadaver lab. And you know, all of my notes are on my Surface. So I put it in a Ziploc bag. I got a 2-gallon, not 1 gallon, 2-gallon Ziploc bag. And I haven't done this lately because I found it hasn't been super helpful. But I would just like stick it in the Ziploc baggie, zip it up, but then I just have it in lab. And it's a lot. Some people will put their phones in Ziploc baggies and then use their phones as flashlights to look in the cadavers. I feel like that was worse for some reason. I don't know why, I can't put my finger on it, but it's funny, you know, because when we first went in there, we were all gloved up, we all had masks on and our safety goggles, and we didn't even like do anything on our first day, but we were ready to go. We had like the gowns on. The number of people who wear masks has significantly gone down. So, well, okay, the number of people, it started off with people started wearing their goggles less, or their safety glasses, and then I noticed that people were starting to wear their masks less. So far, only 1 or 2 people haven't worn their gloves, but they haven't been touching stuff. Or at least they've been trying not to touch stuff, which is dumb, because that entire room is contaminated, basically. There is no, like, you can't pick up the books in there. You know, it's gross. It's not my thing. But, you know, everyone wears the gowns. But some of the instructors, they don't wear gloves. And I don't get it. I recognize that they do this often, but they don't wear gloves. Formaldehyde is toxic. So it's not just like the grody-ness factor of it, but it's also formaldehyde. You're touching that. So I don't know. Every once in a while, and this is gross, so if you've been sticking with me up until this point, you know, hello. But we do need to kind of saw through a couple of bones every once in a while, and there is one instructor who just wields the bone saw without gloves, without a mask, without goggles, and just goes around the lab to each cadaver to, you know, prep it for us. And at one point, apparently he was chewing gum, and one of my classmates finally was just like, "Are you sure you should be chewing gum while, you know, you're doing this with the bone dust in the air?" And he said, "Oh, I guess you're right." And then he spat out his gum, but didn't put on any other safety gear. I don't know. It's weird. There have been 1 or 2 labs where I haven't worn my mask just because I forgot it. But I have most definitely worn my safety glasses and my gloves every time. And oh my gosh, it's just wild. But like, it's wild what I do now, the levels of comfortable. Because when I first started out, I was like, I couldn't even really, I didn't touch it on the first day. Like, I just didn't. Like, I pointed at stuff, but I didn't touch anything. And like, fast forward to like 2 days ago, I'm like literally chiseling. I'm like chiseling stuff. I am picking up brains. I am dissecting somebody's face, which is so intense. Oh my goodness. It's like, but like, you almost like get into this zone. I don't know, but you know, we have, I told you about some of my lab partners. One of them, up until a couple days ago, and we've been doing this for 2 weeks now, he had not touched anything. And for whatever reason, he picked the day we were supposed to start dissecting the face to like hop on in there. And I don't know why that was the day where he was like, okay, this is the day. I just can't sit back anymore. It was weird, but anyways, it's like I have cadaver lab every day, and it's a lot. Like, one of my classmates was like, yeah, you know, I'm done. Like, I'm good. Like, I don't really want to do this anymore. She's like, I'm not like all that like grossed out by it anymore, but I'm just like, I'm good. But it is important. And like, if you don't know, like, if you're wondering, well, why not just look at a textbook, or why not, you know, look at a 3D model, that kind of thing? Well, the illustrations in textbooks and even 3D models, all of the nerves are usually painted yellow, the veins are painted blue, and the arteries are painted red. And even sometimes there are even more different colors. But when you actually look inside the human body, basically everything is the same color, and it makes it really hard to differentiate between the structures. So, you know, you look at a thing and you're like, oh yeah, that's this artery, you know, that's the subclavian artery, and that's the jugular vein. When you're actually looking at it, you're kind of just like, what is this? And sometimes you actually do need to touch it to figure out what it is. Which is weird. It's so, I honestly, I'm living a weird life right now, and this isn't how grad school is always going to be for me. Like, this is a weird first sort of summer quarter, but boyo was this not where I saw myself going, per se. Also, one of the things is, humans are very variable. We don't all look exactly the same. Like, we look very similar, you know, they're common structures, but there is like differences. And some people even have different muscles, like in your face. I forget what the name of it's called because I haven't studied enough. But is it the zygomatic facial muscle? Yeah, I think it's the zygomatic major. Some people don't have two branches of it. Some people only have one, and the different branches, the inferior branch can be variable again. And so they think that's why some people have dimples. They're not 100% sure though. But you know, some people just don't even have this muscle. Some people don't even have the same veins. There is a vein that goes to your thyroid, and not everyone has it. Some people just get along without it. It's weird. Like, of course, the thyroid always interests me because I have hypothyroidism. So I've always got a keen ear out. We were talking about it in class, and the instructor was like, what medication, you know, would somebody who has hypothyroidism take? And my hand shot straight up. I'm like, I'm just like, oh, I forget what it's called. No, that's not what happened. But in my mind, I just, levothyroxine. Okay, I remembered it at the time immediately. And it's late for me. It's 10 p.m. on a Saturday, and I went to school today, and I'm going to school tomorrow, so take pity on me. But anyways, I was very excited, and she looked at me like I'm smart, and I'm like, no, I just have a thyroid condition. Okay, can we put that on my tombstone? She looked like she was smart, but she really just had a thyroid condition. Oh my gosh. Okay. I've been blaming a lot of stuff on the formaldehyde lately. Like, if I'm giggly, or if I'm tired, it's because of the formaldehyde. Or if I'm extra loopy, it's just all the formaldehyde. I think even one of my streams was called Blame It on the Formaldehyde. So, you know. Oh, before I go, I actually have one last thing I want to say about the build. I actually use string lights. If you guys have been around at all, you know that I almost, like, on every other build, I try and use the string lights. And on 90% of them or more, I just find that I can't use them and I give up. But I actually figured it out this build. I actually put in string lights, and I think it looks reasonable. And I'm very proud of myself. Oh, so yes. Anyways, we are coming up on the end of this build. Sorry if the cadaver stories weren't your thing. I won't be talking about it next build. This is a one-off stories from the cadaver lab speed build. So, but anyways, I will be posting in about a week and a half. We'll see. That's the last pre-recorded build, so fingers crossed. I have concerns, and so should you. Probably not. But anyways, I hope you guys are all having a really great week. I hope you enjoyed this build, and again, the stories, and yeah, I will see you guys all next time. Oh, I guess you could like, subscribe, that sort of thing. But anyways, goodbye!